video for an assignment for my Database 2 course. I had to take a conceptual design, which is right here, and I had to implement it into a SQL Server instance. So I have my two tables, which are tflirp and tcrump. Tcrump is a weak entity, so I had to set up a relationship between flirp and crump, which is right here. You can see, uh, and I'll bring it up right here. You can see that it's between flirp ID. I also have cascade delete on and update rule as no action. So cascade delete essentially means that if you delete a parent record, the children record will go with it. So in tflirp, I have the surrogate primary key of flirp ID, and then in tcrump, I have the flirp ID foreign key here. So essentially that means that any crump ID or any crump that has a flirp ID of 1, and if I went and deleted the record flirp ID of 1, you would see all of those disappear. So let's go ahead and actually do that. And I'll have to update tcrump, so I'll have to close it and bring it back up, and you'll see that all of those are gone that had the 1, which was all of them because that's all I had. So that's my relationship that I set up between those two. Um, so I have my foreign keys set up. Natural keys I also have set up in tcrump. Speed is the natural key, and if you go into the indexes, you can see that I set up a natural key here. It's unique. Its type is index. Um, so it's that my foreign key, flirp ID. Primary keys are my surrogate keys. You can see here is flirp ID and crump ID are my primary keys. Um, so now we'll move on to the data dictionary, which I seemed to have closed out of. So let me reopen that real quick. So this is our data dictionary. We already went over the tables. We already went over the relationships. So for date stamp, is it required? Yes. Description, it's the date that the crump was added. No nulls allowed. It's not composite. It varies in length. And it cannot be blank. And the default value should be the current date and time. So if we go ahead into my tcrump table and we go ahead and set a speed 53, we'll leave the date stamp null and flirp ID. What flirp IDs do I have? 10. And a flirp ID of 10 and hit enter. So even though that this is required and the default should set it to the date, it's not popping up. But if we go ahead and bring back up the crump table after closing it, you'll see that it did add the date to the record there. Um, so back to the data dictionary. So now we'll go to speed of the crump. The speed is the unique identifier, which is why it's a key. No, it's no nulls allowed. It's not composite, 32-bit integer. General type is an integer. So, and there's no validation criteria and no default value. But nulls are not allowed. So if I go ahead and try to set in a date, and then give it the flirp ID of 10. If I hit enter, it'll stop me. Cannot insert the value null into column speed. So that's set up correctly. So I'll go ahead and put a speed of 56 in there just because. So next we move on, and this is going to start getting into the flirp table. So we go to table flirp. So color is required. Yes, it is required. Nulls allowed. No. Composite, no. It's 25 character limit, and the general type is text, non-blank and non-null, validation criteria, and default value is none. So if I try to leave color null, so I'll put in a flirp number, but I won't put in a color, and it won't let me, will not let me hit enter to add that to the table. It'll be a similar thing for flirp number because it has to be there because it's the unique identifier. It's required, yes. Uh, so yeah, pretty similar. So I'll go ahead and try to not have that field in there, and it'll stop me again and say that I cannot have a null value in the flirp number column. Um, so that pretty much makes up my table, or well, my rendition of the conceptual design. And it takes care of the relationships, it takes care of having the foreign keys, natural keys, primary keys, and it also has the attributes with the default values and attributes with required values. So that will end my video, and hopefully I'm within time. Yeah, our time limit was 9 minutes, and I'm at about 6. So I hope I get a good grade, and I will see you guys next time that I might have to publish a video for an assignment.